What made you stop caring about your job? I was a school counselor for 7 years. People always assume it's a soft job, like coloring pages and giving out stickers. But in reality, it's watching kids fall through the cracks while administrators obsess over test scores and parents treat you like an inconvenience. I didn't stop caring overnight. It was a slow unraveling, and her name was Mila. Mila was 12, soft voice, never raised her hand, always scribbling something in her notebook. Teachers labeled her a daydreamer. I called her in one day just to check in. No reason other than a gut feeling. She didn't say much, but before leaving, she asked if I thought monsters were real. Depends, I said. She nodded like that made perfect sense, then left. That night I went home and stared at the ceiling, something heavy sitting on my chest. I'd had that feeling before, the kind that creeps in when a kid speaks like they've seen too much. So I flagged it, brought it up in our next meeting. The principal waved it off. She's quiet, not troubled. We've got real issues to focus on. Over the next few weeks, Mila started showing up to school with damp hair. Not fresh from the shower damp, more like soaked then dried by sleeping on it kind. Sometimes her arms had faint red marks, always brushed off as sensitive skin. Her lunch went untouched most days, and she flinched when someone accidentally bumped her. I filed 3 incident reports. Nothing happened. I called her mom once, just to check in. The woman's voice was sugar sweet, too polite, told me everything was wonderful, and asked if Mila was behind on homework. It felt like being told to stop looking. So I kept watching. Then one morning, Mila didn't show up. I asked her homeroom teacher, but she just shrugged. Said the mom emailed that Mila was under the weather. Day 2, same story. Day 3, no email. I walked into the principal's office and said I was going to their house. She told me if I did that, I'd be overstepping boundaries. We're not DCF, she said. Be careful where you stick your nose. I went anyway. Their house was only a mile from campus. Picture perfect from the outside. White siding, manicured lawn, wind chimes on the porch. I knocked. No answer. I left a note in Mila's handwriting style, hoping she'd find it. The next day, she came back to school. Her cheek was swollen, a purple splotch just below her eye. When I asked what happened, she stared at me and said, "The monster came out." I took her to the nurse. We documented everything. Called child services together. They sent someone. The case was unsubstantiated. Nothing changed. After that, Mila stopped talking. She'd still come to my office, but her mouth stayed shut. She'd draw in silence. One day, she handed me a picture of a girl made of paper folded up into a box. That night, I cried in my car for an hour. A month later, I came into work and saw the police at the entrance. A parent had found Mila unconscious in their backyard. She'd climbed out her window and collapsed, trying to run away. Hypothermia, malnourishment, bruised from ankle to ear. Suddenly, everyone cared. News trucks, statements from the school, fundraisers with slogans like, "We saw the signs, we stood by her," except they didn't. I sat at her hospital bedside while she slept, held her hand and whispered I was sorry. She squeezed once and let go. She made it, but her mom didn't get jail time, just a mandatory parenting course and supervised visits. Mila went to live with her aunt in another state. The principal asked me to help coordinate trauma support for the rest of the student body. I stared at her, took off my badge, and handed it over. "You want me to help the same people who ignored her?" I said. "No, I'm done. Now I work at a bookstore. I make minimum wage. I stock shelves. I recommend books to teenagers who remind me of Mila."